Greetings, viewers, and welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight as always, and yes, we are once again back on Calderis Refinery tonight. Before I get started though, some folks have been asking me about the Throne of Skulls matches, which is a one-on-one tournament that happened a couple weeks back that I covered, and to which I've been directing them to my Twitch TV channel. That's of course twitch.tv/Red-Rupee, but unfortunately, on that note, they are no longer there. I forgot to hit that magic button that saves the casts, and that 8 hours of casting is no longer available. Luckily, however, I do save all of my streams locally, so I will be uploading that here probably later this week, so you can indulge yourself and check out all the great casts that myself, Indrid, Maestro Cortella, and Codex all took a long chunk out of our nice, happy weekends to bring you those crazy games. So be sure to check that out, and if you haven't already, I have uploaded my interview with Codex over there at Game Replays. You can find that over there to discuss the interview or check it out on my YouTube channel, of course. It is available there. It's a bit lengthy, but it's good. What can I say? I have the gift of gab. I kept Keltos talking for quite a while, but you can listen to it as a podcast, or you can feel free to turn on the video, watch it while we talk, and enjoy all the lovely highlights and gameplay clips that I so tediously put together for your very own entertainment. Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we've got tonight. On the blue side, we have Lux as our Eldar Warlock in some fancy Ulthway gear right there. And then we have on the opposing side, the red team, our nasty little Lictor on the Tyranid side. So let's go ahead, get this game going. Warlock versus Lictor. Both of these very aggressive heroes. So we're probably going to see them really causing some havoc on either side of the line here. The Lictor, of course, going to be able to infiltrate, has that nasty flesh hook, going to be able to pick off any early Eldar model he wants to off of these initial Dire Avengers or Banshees. And since he does have that kind of fast, high damage attack, he's going to be able to bleed those Eldar squads pretty quickly if Lux isn't quick to react. And then we've got the Warlock, who's got that Destructor and just highly offensive powerhouse here. Going to be able to beat up those Gaunt squads if he catches them off guard with a nice Destructor. We've got, double Hormagaunts coming out for Fear to start off. And then we have Guardians on this side. We've got Banshees heading over to help out the Warlock. And it looks like we're going to have a nice harassing Lictor opening right here from Fear. Fear's looking for some trouble to get into, and he's going to find it. Probably was hoping to find some Guardians, but sneaking himself a Banshee isn't going to hurt his feelings either. He's actually not going for the quick flesh hook. He's determined he can win. He's going to get the flesh hook off anyways, snag himself a quick kill, a little experience, and the Warlock's just going to continue to push the west side of the map. Dire Avengers and Warlock on the far side. Dire Avengers about to get intercepted, however, by some Hormagaunt broods, and they need to be very careful. Lux doesn't look like he's reacting. He's just going to stand there and try to get the cap, but I don't think that's worth it. Probably should have fallen back, gotten his Warlock wherever he may have gone over there to the Guardians. Once the Banshees fell back, I feel like the Warlock should have came over to support the Guardians against whichever Gaunt squad they encountered. Lux did pop a note there, but I don't think that's worth 125 rec to do so. All that's going to do is delay the Hormagaunts for just a little bit, although maybe that's what he wants. He wants to get up these two generators nice and quick so he can get out something big, something tier 1.5 early. Get out some Rangers maybe, get some wargear on his Warlock, get out a Shuriken Cannon. Shuriken Cannon, I think, going to be very important in dealing with this Tyranid threat as an Eldar player. Hormagaunts made short work of that node. Decapping the power node. Warlock's going to try to keep some VP pressure on here. 500 to 476 already. Lictor Alpha still roaming the eastern part of the map there. Warlock hanging out, getting ready to get beat up by some Hormagaunts. I'm not even sure if Hormagaunts will take him on their own if he can manage to get some special attacks off. He does have to stop capping if he wants to battle. And yes, he does. We can see Lux indeed going to strike at these guys. And there goes one special attack, taking those Hormas down to about half health. Banshee's about to encounter the second squad over here. Terma's getting over here to reinforce the Hormagaunts, though. Another special attack. And that Warlock is just chopping these Hormagaunts on up. We can see, actually, the Warlock gets another special attack, takes out the squad. Banshee's battle cry going down on the west side of the map, causing some trouble. Guardians lose another model to the Lictor, who's just constantly decapping, and now they're about to get flanked by some Spore Mines. They really don't want to be caught in that blast. A couple Spore Mine detonations will just about destroy a Dire Avenger squad if he's not careful. Lux with the Warlock and the Banshees. Both players very deep in enemy territory right now. We do have the Shuriken Cannon coming out, the Guardian Weapons team, as these Spore Mines closing perilously close to these Dire Avengers. We had those 2 generators up, and they did manage to stay untouched. Fear, a little bit of a slip on the micro, letting those Hormagaunts stay in on that Warlock. They really just weren't doing enough damage without Adrenal Glands, without Warriors nearby for Synapse. They weren't going to really do too much. Banshee is falling back. Guardians finding themselves on the wrong side of a Spore Mine explosion, however, though. Might even get off another one, picks off another model. Very fortunate that they didn't lose more than that, honestly. Destructor goes off, triggers a couple more Spore Mines, and the last of them fall to a quick burst from that Guardian Weapons team. Fear is in a good position right now, though. He does have the Lictor way back here. Picks off yet another Dire Avenger, getting himself some more experience, and this Weapons team is in between a couple perilous positions right now. He's got melee coming in from the far side. Lictor's closing in from the rear. It's going to get set up and be able to suppress these squads for the time being until the Lictor gets there. Might have been a bit mistimed on Fear's part right there. Banshee's jumping all over the place, very low. Lots of Hormagaunts go down, but the Warriors and Lictor are here to start chopping up those Eldar. Nice flank by Lux, on Lux by Fear. Lost himself a few too many Hormagaunts. Probably could have left those Hormagaunts on the field to at least cap right here, but deciding to use the Warriors and the Lictor on the field. You really want to kind of stress that early map pressure with Tyranid, I feel like, especially against Eldar, which is going to be able to turn it right back around. Lux getting some Rangers on the field now, too, which is that famous one-of-everything build we see Eldar play. I've mentioned it a few times. It's my favorite build to see play. Nice flesh hook on the Rangers after they take their initial shot. That model's going to go down. Takes one flesh hook and one stab of those little spiky talons from the Lictor, as we saw, to take out a Ranger model. But this is really going to be some great synergy for the Eldar army. The Rangers are going to be able to spot the Lictor for the Shuriken, keep it from getting surprised, and the Shuriken will keep the Rangers relatively safe from the Terma, not even the Horma or the Terma, the Tyranid lob. My goodness. Getting all mixed up with my alien words. So many different things in this game. Always getting my terminology a bit tripped up. Oh my gosh, it looks like we actually saw Swift Movement activated, trying to get this Eldar back out on the field. Lux not hesitating to use those globals. Dire Avenger still without any wargear, unfortunately, though. Can't drop any grenades on these suppressed Hormagaunts. Banshees screaming in at the speed of light. Look at him with that aspect of swiftness, flying over cover. And I don't know if Fear needed to retreat right there. He did still have Termagants and Warriors. They probably would have gotten suppressed by the Howling Banshees, I suppose. So a good choice ultimately, but by the way, aspect of fleetness, I think pretty much the only thing you want to go for against Tyranid. You don't really have to worry about vehicles nearly as much. You're not going to see any real kind of vehicle force until late game, most likely, unless perhaps we see a Tyrant Guard come out early. But even so, there's a lot of things Eldar can do to help deal with that without needing that aspect of strength. So the closing ability of these Banshees will be much higher. They will be able to jump over cover. You'll have those dual swords on the Exarch. And right now we can see a Guardian Weapons team just plowing the nose of that Shuriken Cannon directly into the power node and pulling the trigger. Both players heading into Tier 2. Fear is a good deal ahead, however. Lux finally has the full power farm over here. However, Fear has had both of the nodes up on either side of the point right there. Only has the 2 generators up at his natural, though, so he wasn't quite that far ahead in power income. Lictor Alpha, as soon as we hit Tier 2, gets that deadly jump, so that Shuriken Cannon is going to be in a lot more of a tricky position to stay up and suppressing. Fear not choosing to get any Tier 2 squad right away, went straight for the upgrade, has the Adrenal Glands, has the deadly jump. Rangers still hanging out up front, trying to spot that Lictor, make sure nothing goes on here. I really want to see these Dire Avengers get themselves their battle equipment so they can start putting some more pressure on the Tyranids with some grenades, energy shields, that sort of thing. Oh no, another Ranger getting pulled into the mess right there. Goes down. We do have some Rippers on the field being spawned from the Capillary Tower up there. And here comes some suppression, but it looks like there goes the Lictor jumping in on the whole thing, and oh no, this thing's in a lot of trouble right now. Those Warriors and Hormagaunts obliterated instantly. Wow, an incisive strike right there coming in from Fear. Almost instantly destroys that Shuriken Cannon and picking apart the Eldar forces. Rippers going in. They should be not hitting those Banshees, though. They should be trying to hit those Guardians and negating that any kind of additional range damage. Look at these Banshees tanking damage, though. Right now we've got the Channeling Runes on the Warlock. And wow, excellent play right there. Don't see the Channeling Runes often, but look how effective it is. Those Banshees still at full health. Don't care about Hormagaunts. Don't care about Warriors. That's kind of the thing about Tyranid melee, is that it's not actually that high damage initially. But really, what does all the damage is that initial warrior attack. The warriors knock down the enemies, allow them to get a few quick strikes, and if they have Hormagaunts on the field as well with them, they're actually going to do tons of damage before you really get to do anything. Ranger taking a rather gutsy point-blank shot at those Termagants with the one single model left. They probably could have turned and just bursted him down in a split second. A little brazen there by Lux, but Lux in tier 2. Looks like he must be holding out. Oh, I was getting ready to say he's holding out for a Walker, but instead throws me off and gets himself a Falcon. Fear has some Gene Stealers coming onto the field, and that's going to be a lot of melee for Lux to deal with here shortly. I wouldn't be surprised if Lux gets back that Shuriken Cannon. I think it'll be very useful to have something to control all this big pile of melee. Even with the Lictor and his deadly jump, now also upgrading with the Pheromones, which will give him the Pheromone Cloud, allow his squads to reinforce on the field wherever that location is placed. But as I was saying, I feel that Shuriken is going to be very important to the Eldar position. Even with the Lictor deadly jump, you can keep your Banshees, you can keep your Warlock back there behind the platform to help deal with the Lictor if he does choose to jump himself all in there and force him back. But I think with the Falcon and the Shuriken and the Rangers, you can really put a lot of range damage into this melee pile before anything can be done about it. Banshee's now hacking up the power once again. Lux did cap the far node on the east side over there, so he's got some nice power income coming in here as well. And there goes the Falcon, instantly revealing its presence. I always think it's more fun to kind of try to keep your vehicle hidden until you can make a strike right there. But we can see another capillary tower, or capillary, I don't know how everyone says it. It probably doesn't really matter, but I'm sure someone will make a comment in my section to make fun of me for how I say it. Everyone's mean to me like that. Destructor going down on these Termagants. They have to get the heck out of there. Banshee's going to come in and pick off a few models very quickly. Warlock already upgraded with his Merciless Witchblade. Ripper's trying to slow down this Falcon a little bit, but they're getting supported by Guardians and Rangers. Don't want to have that melee pile between you and your retreat path. Banshees and Warlock trying desperately to get away from that. They're probably going to need to activate Fleet of Foot to get the heck out of there. Lictor gets a nice combat jump and knocks everything down. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Warlock and Banshees in a lot of trouble. Another tower getting ready to go up right here. Nice knockback kinetic pulse there from the Rangers. Banshee's going to be reinforcing off the Falcon, though. Reinforcing and getting Channeling Runes, actually. So they're just sticking in the fight with these Gene Stealers, though. They're going to have to be a lot more careful. They're starting to focus down those Warriors. Pop one, get the Synapse Backlash. We do have Venom Cannons coming onto the field here. And that might be the end of the Warrior squad. A nice knockback, however, keeping that Warrior safe. Will the Warlock get that final hit? I'm not sure. There's too much going on. He does finish off everything. Banshee is falling back. That Falcon was a little bit too far back to keep those Banshees reinforced. Warlock trying to stay on the field, but he's getting knocked over by everything. Trying to get maybe a couple special attacks while he can with that Merciless Witchblade. But the Falcon needs to be very careful because there's a lot of anti-vehicle on the field. Fear just moving in with everything right now, trying to put some real pressure on this thing. Venom Cannon gonna start blasting away at that Falcon. It's getting very low. Rangers and Banshees and everything knocking over the entire Tyranid pile. Ooh, and a mass retreat there. I don't think that may have been necessary. Honestly, he could have even not pressured the Falcon with everything. All he really needed to pressure that Falcon was the Venom Broods. He could have used the melee to tear up this gen farm and probably caused a lot more hurt to Lux. Even if he doesn't take out that Falcon, he hurt it, he could have pushed the gen farm. That would have caused Lux, you know, some power loss in its own way, not directly through the Falcon, but just cutting off his economy. Looks like that's exactly what Lux tends to do as well. He's ignoring the center VP. VPs are pretty even, so he says, I'm going to go straight for the heart, take out this gen farm. Doesn't want Fear going too far into the lead as far as tech goes. Bringing some warriors back onto the field. Fear feels like he needs those Adrenal Gland warriors, I'm assuming, to keep his melee, keep those Gene Stealers nice and healthy against these Banshees, which are nice and well upgraded. They don't have their Exarch even, and they've still been doing crazy damage with the help of the Channeling Runes from the Warlock. I like seeing the different wargears, I really do, and the melee pile's doing exactly what it wants to do. It's just going around. It's not even trying to go straight for the Banshees. They're trying to get into the retreat path. They should probably just keep moving this direction. Banshees and Guardians are going to hop right inside that Falcon. We do have Rippers coming in from all sides, though, trying to slow that thing down. They do have a minor slowing effect on vehicles, I believe. Genestealer's taken a lot of unnecessary damage, though, in the meantime. Tower going up and speeding up those Rippers once again. Meanwhile, Warlock's kind of hanging out on the far side of the map, a little idle. Unfortunately, it looks like Lux is very concerned about his Falcon because he's leaving his Rangers to be consumed by the Genestealers, and down they go. Genestealers, get on your Rangers. That's pretty much going to be it. There's not going to be too much to stop them from getting out of there. 353 to 280 right now. Fear a little bit on the backside. He has managed to take out that Shuriken. That was, of course, returned in kind from Lux taking out that Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood. Probably a bigger loss there for Fear so far. Lictor's not too healthy right now. Just kind of hang out and do a little map capping, but he's not really going to be able to contribute to this next fight. Not sure if I saw any kind of pheromone cloud or anything like that go down there. We have 2 Ripper squads on the field. I'm not actually sure. I'm assuming they're slow, maybe cumulative, if it is in fact a thing. Falcon's still a little beat up, but getting itself deep into enemy territory. Warriors and Genestealers moving in from the opposing side. We've got Warp Spiders over here, going to start dealing some major damage as well. Another tower's going to go down, keep speeding up these Tyranids all over the map, and we have a Wraith Lord coming out as well for Fear. That's not going to be too good. That's going to be 2 very powerful Eldar vehicles on the field, and continuing. Oh, look at that special attack taking out all those Rippers. If you can get a special attack from the Warlock in the middle of all those Rippers, it actually just kills them outright. Howling Banshees again, just tanking through all this melee damage. It works out so well against Tyranid because all you have to do is stay in there long enough to take out a couple Warriors. And look, those Banshees still full health, only lost a single mana. However, this Falcon in dire straits as it's retreating from the Venom Cannons with only 20 HP left. Looks like the Genestealers are going to get out of there with a couple models, and this Falcon's just trying to speed away as fast as it can. Warp Spiders and Banshees about to be in the retreat path of this Venom Brood, though. Going to have to be very careful right there. Termagon's taking tons of fire. There goes a grenade finally, but a quick reaction from Fear keeps that squad alive. Falcon managing to take out these Rippers, but oh gosh, the Venom Broods are on a perfect intercept course. It looks like, yes, they do get off a final shot and take down the Falcon. That's really what Fear needed to do, because with this Wraith Lord coming out, that might have been one vehicle too many for him to deal with. Banshee's going to try to get themselves another quick kill right there. But it looks like Fear is not going to keep a hold of this map for the time being. It's 300 to 273. He got a nice kill on that Falcon, but he's heading into Tier 3. If he can hold out a little bit longer right here, I think he'll be in a good position. With a couple squads now down, that Falcon and the initial Shuriken weapons team. So long as he doesn't bleed too much, he's going to be able to bring himself a Carnifex or something equivalent onto the field here shortly and really put Lux in a bad position. The Warp Spiders and this Wraith Lord will be able to do some good damage. Wraith Lord now just doing a little bit of Exterminator duty, running around taking out all those Tyranid towers. Don't want to have those buffs on the field. However, it looks like this Lictor's in a lot of trouble. Warlock's screaming in. Look at how fast that guy is. He might get that final attack as melee charge goes and wears off again. But he has the jump. There goes the combat jump. Melee charge reactivated. But he's just a bit too slow to catch up with that Lictor when he's at full retreat speed. Banshees and Warp Spiders hanging out here in the center. And really, oh man, I feel like if Lux had had a Shuriken cannon on the field, he would have been able to set it up somewhere around the middle. Keep those Venom Broods from getting in on this Falcon. I really think you should have that Shuriken cannon, especially against this much melee. Oh my gosh, look at that brutal special attack from the Warlock there. Level 4 Warlock has his Merciless Switchblade, now level 5, picking up a couple extra kills right there. Lictor, however, only level 3. Did manage to get home, but he's beat up. He's not going to be able to come back onto the field for the time being. Lux heading into Tier 3 as well. And it's 223 to 273. Tyranid does have a slight VP advantage for the time being. And the Eldar really doesn't have too terribly much staying power. He's been using those channeling runes incredibly effectively. Normally, you can take out these Banshees because they're afraid to stay in against Genestealers and Warriors, but really, all you need to do, take out that Warrior Brood. All you need to do is survive that initial knockdown. But as these Genestealers and Warriors get leveled up, we still have Hormagaunts out here as well. Gonna have to be very careful because it's stacking up to be more and more melee damage. The Gene Stealers now with their Rending Talons as well, so this Wraithlord is going to be in a bad spot. Oh man, and the Tyranids are sweeping in from behind. This is going to be a huge strike if it manages to take down this Wraithlord. Lux is tier 3 now, but he doesn't want to lose anything else at this point. A quick knockback. Nice use of the Warlock getting that knockback in. Channeling Rune's going down, but even that is not enough to keep these ladies safe from all of these Tyranid lugs right here. Grenade goes down. Actually, a little friendly fire on those Banshees. But wow, this is just way too much Tyranid for this Wraithlord and Warlock to deal with right now. It is managing to beat up those Venom Cannons, but we still have those Gene Stealers on the field. We still have the Warlock in here knocking stuff around, but he's getting knocked over all over the place. Venom Cannon has to retreat as they got singled out from those Warp Spiders, and just everything hunting down this Wraithlord. Really, though, he's trying to be putting those Hormagaunts on the Warp Spiders or something like that. The Hormagaunts aren't going to be doing anything to this Wraithlord right here. Warlock's still doing tons of damage too, and that's another disadvantage to having a big pile of nids right here, is every time that special attack goes off, it's huge damage. Warlock actually completely switched over now to his Jedi Master build. Another big special attack. Banshee screaming in. Those nids need to get out of there. I'm not sure what's going on right here. Oh my gosh. Warriors go down. Gene Stealer's very low. Lictor trying to stay in there and stall out a little bit. Gene Stealers will retreat. Forced off the Banshees with the menacing visage. Forcing off those Banshees may well have saved the Lictor his life, with those Banshees tearing in at him, and the Warlock in his retreat path as well, along with those War Spiders. I doubt he would have made it home. Warlock completely switched up his build right there. Went from the support role to just the nasty, unstoppable melee force right there. Nice use of the menacing visage, though, to keep those Banshees back. We do have another webway coming up here on the midpoint of the map. Going to be able to get the Banshees up nice and quickly on the field here. Luck's been using his globals fairly well so far. War Spider's going to get that and then just run the heck out of there. Where did they teleport to? Over to the west. And this Warlock now is just going to tear up any gaunts that he encounters. These Rippers are just been getting obliterated time and time again right there. Nice pull in by the Flesh Hook, but I don't even know that this amount of melee is going to deal with him too well. War Spider's over there. Warlock gets another nice special attack and then retreats. That's really all he was waiting for. Get that special attack off and then haul tail out of there. War Spiders, though, a little late on the jump. They might lose themselves a model or two. One falls as he reaches through the warp there and gets into the center. Banshees should have been helping take out that tower, but weren't quite doing it. Grenade going down. Gets a nice little connection right there. Gets a chunk of HP off of everything. Banshees just hop into the warp gate. Warp gate ultimately turns out to not be that effective. Of course, seeing those Banshees disappear, Fear recognizes there must only be a warp gate there. And that's the only warp gate that's out on the field right now. Ooh, and Lux bringing an Avatar out. Fear went tier 3 very quickly, but repurchasing those warriors kind of slowed him down. He's been bleeding a good deal as well. That big engagement right down here, that's the second time he purchased those warriors back. And see, if he hadn't have spent that, he'd already have a Carnifex in build. So this Avatar is actually probably going to hit before Fear has any major tier 3 unit on the field. So despite having that huge tech lead, it might not pay off for him. He might have just wanted to keep those Adrenal Gland warriors back for the time being and gotten himself out of Carnifex. I think that would have been the better choice. But Lux may still have a chance to stay in this with that Avatar coming out. He does have some very nasty Banshees. He's got, let's see, a level 4 Banshee squad and a level 7 Warlock. Gene Stealer's only level 2, Lictor level 4, getting right in there. Forcing off the Banshees once again. They scream, but the Menacing Vicious tears them out, and that's exactly what you want to do. That's really the key to the Eldar force right now, are those Banshees. The Warlock, of course, is going to be doing plenty of damage on his own. I'm kind of surprised to not see the feeder tendrils on the Lictor. Lictor just narrowly misses taking out that Dire Avenger squad. Gets a nice looking Flesh Hook. You can see Lux just using the Warp Spires to put on a little more map pressure. It's 191 to 100. He knows that there's probably some big Tyranid tier 3 coming out. He does have his Avatar, but he's trying to keep that VP pressure on right now. Warlock, actually upgrading to Warp Throw. Tons of wargear changes as we progress through the game here. Lux has been spending crazy amounts of money on that Warlock. I think he's actually now gone through all 3 of his accessory wargears. War Spiders again looks like they're going to get themselves the VP cap. and start ticking away right here. They're going to lose a couple of models, but at this point it's worth it. Looks like another Ripper squad goes down to the Warlock down here, and a warp gate popping up in the middle of the map. Warp spiders doing everything they can to take out these Hormagaunts. They teleport away, lose another model, but force off the squad. Avatar going around, gonna start doing what the Wraith Lord was before. Apparently that's all walkers are good for, is destroying capillary towers. Carnifex coming on the field here shortly for Mr. Fear. His Lictor is down, however. So all we've got for the time being, really as far as damage goes, are these two melee squads. We do have some Hormagaunts on the field, they're level 3, but they're not going to do too much without the help of that Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood. Venom Cannon also hanging out with its ranged Synapse, but there's really nothing ranged left. The Termagants went down at some point, possibly in that big engagement down here, most likely. Unfortunately, Fear just stayed on the field a little too long that time after taking out that Wraith Lord, and it cost him dearly. Look at the Gene Stealers doing a good job going in, getting the decap, making sure that they can stay on the field a little while. Fear's trying to buy himself a little time to get this Carnifex up to support the squads. I think he has spotted that Avatar, so he knows it's out there. If he was paying attention, he saw it beating up those towers and fighting side by side with that Warlock against those Rippers. So I think he is indeed waiting for this Carnifex to get up here and support the rest of the Tyranid swarm. Lictor Alpha is up as well, and we see just a bit of a stall right now. Energy shield's going up for some reason. I don't know why. There's no even range damage to deal with. Perhaps it'll stop some Venom Brute shots. I don't know. Carnifex is moving in on the field, though. Fire Prism coming out for Lux. Oh, man. Fear should probably try to push before that Fire Prism comes out, but I think... I'm not even sure what he's waiting for right now. Lictor should move in. I think, honestly, with the kind of melee he's got right there, if he can force off those Banshees like he did the first time with the Menacing Visage and then get everything else in there, I think he'd be able to deal with what's currently on the field. Oh, that's what he's doing. He's waiting for the Thornback to get upgraded for the Carnifex right here. Even so, he could be kind of pressuring with the Lictor. He could be flesh hooking or something like that, maybe trying to take a Banshee model or two out here. But the Carnifex gets upgraded with the Thornback, and we're gonna see... there's the Rippers. And, oh, here we go. Tyranid's moving in for the kill. Going all or nothing, it looks like, on this push. 85 to 44, and Fear really needs to move in. Unfortunately, knocks his own stuff over with that melee charge of the Thornback Carnifex. Carnifex in there, and it looks like this may be exactly what he needs. Lots of damage going down. Oh, beautiful warp throw into Wailing Doom. Holy heck! The entire Gene Stealer Brood gets obliterated right there. A Fire Prism shot from the distance finishes it off, and a beautiful play. Excellent combination from the Warlock. Warp throw just took out, wow, the Rippers, the Gene Stealers, and leaving this Carnifex well stranded out here. The Lictors on the field did activate a Tyranid formation. The Venom Cannons can't get in on this Fire Prism with the Warlock still on the field. That Warlock's never going to be falling back with the build he's got right now. Switching back to the Heart of Darkness for the time being, now that he no longer needs the Warp Throw after that big Wailing Doom that we just saw right there. Completely turned that engagement around, and it looks like, oh man, Fear just throws in the towel on the spot. Woo! That last engagement, beautifully executed by Lux. Lux did not panic, had all his forces right here, activated the Warp Throw and the Wailing Doom. I saw the Wailing Doom going off this direction, and I didn't know what that was all about, but the Warp Throw pulled the Gene Stealers and Rippers right on into it, nearly obliterated the entire Gene Stealer squad, and then the Fire Prism was there with the support. Look at that tank. Oh man, tell me that's not the coolest tank in the game. I do love Fire Prisms. Too bad I like Space Marine better than Eldar. But the Warrior's getting blasted away there. Oh man, some clutch plays there by Lux. Lux kind of lost a couple squads early, managed to take out some Warriors and bleed Fear pretty well though, stay in the game. Got his Avatar out before Carnifex even hit. And just a few unfortunate plays there by Fear, staying on the field a bit too late. Had some low HP squads. Synapse Backlash. Oof. It is tough to deal with sometimes. But hope you guys enjoyed the game. I know I did. Feel free to comment, subscribe, like the video, all that fun stuff. I always appreciate it. This is Red-Rupee. I'll be catching you guys next time.